Absolute celebrations around the USA as the U.S. men's national team, for the first time since 2002, have won a knockout game at the World Cup. 2-0 was the final score over Bosnia and Herzegovina in their round of 32 game over in the West Coast. Hello, everyone, and welcome into our ESPN FC studios here in lovely New York City. I'm Alexis Nunes alongside Herculez Gomez and Jermaine Jones. As we said, a big night for the U.S. men's national team as they get a win and book their spot into the round of 16. Now, a 10-man U.S. men's national team had to do this because their goal scorer for the first goal, Folarin Balogun, got sent off. Controversial red card, some would say. We're going to talk about it later. And then Malik Tillman added a late goal in the 82nd minute to just seal the deal on what was a good win for the U.S. Let's welcome in a World Cup winner himself and a former U.S. men's national team manager, Jurgen Klinsmann. Jurgen, thanks for being with us once again. Your thoughts on the win?
Well, absolutely deserved win, and 2-0 is always a special result, obviously, for the U.S. men's national team. Fantastic going through to the round of 16 now. Winning this knockout match is kind of psychologically extremely important. I think they were very professional. They were focused. They were smart in many occasions. Leave aside maybe the red card, and they got the job done. I mean, it's fantastic. I think it gives them even more confidence now going into the next knockout. A big match against Belgium.
Yeah, it's going to be a big match against Belgium. We'll look at that in detail later on. Herc, as Jurgen said, he thought they were focused, they were smart, they got the win. What did you think?
This group, a year ago, doesn't get this result after going a man down. I started getting flashbacks at Copa America with Greg Berhalter, Timothy Weah getting a silly red card, different circumstances, still a red card that puts him behind the hole, and Panama ends up overtaking a one-goal lead for the U.S. men's national team. They can't hold on, and they get bounced from Copa America. It was a humiliating loss, and it made them the first host country ever to get eliminated in the group phase. Here you are, round of 32 game, in a game in which they are in complete control, and we can talk about the red card, and we will, but it happens. And Folarin Balogun is gone. And I thought to myself, well, let's see what this group is made of. Because in the past, this group has folded. In the past, this group has buckled. And they were smart. They were intelligent. They were calculated in how they tried to hold the ball. They picked and chose when to go forward. And when they did, they got the vital goal that they needed. However they got it. You can say it was the wall. You can say it was the goalkeeper. You can say it was a piece of brilliance from Malik Tillman. They got the job done. And in that 10-man performance for almost 30 minutes or so, Matt Freese was never really tested. This was a big boy performance from Mauricio Pochettino, and one that I think he should be very proud of his men for. This team in the past wouldn't have gotten this result. They'd be home already. They'd be the only host nation already gone. They got the result tonight. And I think this group is going to grow from this and use it to their benefit.
Yeah, they're through to the next round where they will face Belgium, but they're going to have to do that, Jurgen, now without Folarin Balogun, who has been their top goal scorer at this World Cup. He found the back of the net again here today and then, of course, was sent off. Just your thoughts overall on the performance and, of course, that red card.
Well, obviously, he was unlucky right in the beginning. He scored already, and then they gave it an offside. You know, if he's a little bit cleverer there, he scores, already earlier. Then he scored that goal. A little bit lucky, but who cares? You know, you score that goal and it's fantastic. You up 1-0 and you control the game. And this was really fun to watch. This U.S. team that they didn't let Bosnia into that game at all. You know, they dictated the tempo. Obviously Bosnia tried to kind of slow it down and break the rhythm, but the U.S. kept on going, and even after the red card then for Balogun, they kept going and looked for a second goal. So there's so many positives to take away from this game. It really gives you the feeling that there's far more to come. It hurts, the red card. I mean, rightfully, wrongfully. I thought it's a bit harsh to give a red card there, but he hit him from behind. He got him. In his Achilles tendon there. It looks a little bit kind of unfortunate, but if you're Messi, you don't get it called, you know. But if you're Balogun, you get it called. and that will be a little bit of a disadvantage, but I think, that the roster is so good. Also, Pepe coming on, or whoever plays in instead of him, they're talented enough to give Belgium a real fight and to make something happen there. I think they have absolutely quality to beat Belgium, the Belgium of today. I would say it's a different version of a Belgium than 4 or 8 years ago, or 12 years ago even, and but it's doable. And I think they can take so many positives away from this game. No, huge compliment.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for Flo Balogun to sit down and swallow sitting out the next game. Herc, this red card obviously has come at the worst time, considering he was just definitely growing into this tournament and being the top striker for the U.S.
Leading goal scorer for the U.S. men's national team. Was the last time you had a striker who scored 3 goals in a World Cup? One that is this dynamic, this dangerous, that can create for himself and for others. And with the circumstantial action, you put it into slow motion, you put it into freeze frame, you take it into VAR, and it looks terrible. It looks like he comes across the Achilles tendon of his opponent, and it's an easy red to dissect. But I'm with Jurgen. The problem here is that VAR is so inconsistent. FIFA is so inconsistent. What's good for the goose isn't good for the gander. Messi does this, and it's low-hanging fruit. Messi's one of a few players that have done this action, and it doesn't get called. It's not even a foul. There's no card. Folarin Balogun does this, it gets reviewed, and when you put it under review, when you slow it down, when you go picture by picture, obviously there's contact. He comes across the Achilles, and you're going to red card him. The problem isn't that this is a red card. It's that it's so inconsistent that it leaves fans and us pundits frustrated. How can you not call that one and call this one? How can you not impact that play, that person, and impact this play, this person? That's what would frustrate me if I was playing in the VAR era, if I'm part of the U.S. men's national team. If I'm Mauricio Pochettino today, there is contact. Football is a contact sport. When you slow it down, it looks worse. When you put it picture by picture, it looks like a clear red card. I don't know if it was a clear red card when it goes full speed. What I do know is, under VAR, when you take it to review, it's going to get called every single time. Why wasn't the other one taken to review? What was the difference there? That's what the explanation I would like. When things are consistent, it's easier to digest. It's not been consistent, so there are going to be a lot of fans and Mauricio Pochettino, without a star player, who are going to feel hard done.
Well, I tell you, someone who's very happy they did not have VAR back in his playing days is this man right here, JJ. How many red cards would you have gotten? But for you, this wasn't a red either.
No, definitely not. In Herculez is completely right. When you look at the game straight away, and I said it, for me, not a red card, because he's not looking even. So if the ball is in front of you and you go through and you pull through and you have your leg and you hit the guy over the ankle most of the time, then it's a clear red card. But for that, like, he's trying to step and find a way to step back out of that collision with the Bosnian player, and he steps with his right foot on the guy. Yes, if you slow it down, if you go to review and you look at the pictures, everything looks worse. But then with the next point is, if you give a red card here, the consistency, why is not Messi getting the red card? So, and that's just something now we can look at it and go and say, he's missing this game. No, he's an important player, scored 3 goals for this country, and he will be missed now for the next game. So, and that's something what is not good, even on FIFA side, because you have to find the consistency in the calls you do and not hurting some people or some teams and some teams not. So, and if I would be Pochettino, I will go hard on that and I will be saying something, because you want to go to the next round. Now you're in the next round and you're missing one of your top players.
You're missing your top striker, indeed, for this one. He at least did find the back of the net in this one, but so did Malik Tillman. Brilliant free kick there, Jurgen. But who else stood out to you?
Well, it was a very good team performance. Who stood out for me was Weston McKennie. I just love his energy. I love his aggressiveness. I love his leadership now. Tyler Adams as well. It was not easy for Christian Pulisic to get into the game, get good moments there. He had a few good moments, but not as many as we maybe wished for. We obviously wish also for a goal for Christian sooner or later there. But I think Malik Tillman, fantastic free kick. I think the goalkeeper could have done a little bit better, but it's fantastic. It's a goal in a World Cup, and so overall, I think you got to give them Yeah, an A minus maybe, because what I liked also is our back line that is consistent. I mean, Tim Ream is playing so far a fantastic World Cup where we said, we are a little bit worried about his pace, about the tempo, instead of he's right there. He's a fantastic, calm, quiet leader, but he leads, and if he's has to give a couple of words to some opponents, he does that as well. I think, what you've seen today from Belgium with Senegal is very, very interesting, because I think it leaves so many opportunities now open for the US team to make it happen, to really go into the next round again. And I mean, it's absolutely doable.
Absolutely doable indeed. JJ, I think it was you that said you wanted to see a big performance as well from Malik Tillman. You obviously like him as a player. What did you make of him today? Of course, he got that goal. But as Jurgen said, the keeper probably could have done better, but he'll take it all day, every day.
Yeah, at the end, this is, I said it, and I hope that he will have a good game. The same like what Jurgen said with Weston McKennie. I think both. It's so important, especially for that kind of players, to get into the game, because first action, what you have in the game, and I think you were able to see it already with Adams with the first goal, with a little bit with the flick, with then Tillman gets the ball, a little bit luck with the ball to Bellingham, But in general, you can see the movement of the balls, in the spacing, in the find the right pockets always to turn open. And I would say he's a little bit more the creator. And then Weston is more with the working guy, who is a lot of movements and comes late in the box. And I think both, and I said it, have to have a good game. But I think too, to add to that what Jurgen said, is the back four played an amazing game. Because that is the foundation. We always say the foundation starts with your back. That gives you the freedom in the front to be a little bit more focused just to go forward. And I think with Robinson, Ream, Richards, and Freeman, they were today taking every battle and give the guys in front of them the freedom to be and make the special stuff.
Pochettino made only 3 substitutions in a game where he's got a man down and they're defending for 30 minutes at a disadvantage. It shows you how much he trusts the guys who are in there, but it also shows you how good the guys who were in there really were. Matt Freese was never really tested, and I could not agree more with the guys about the duo in the center midfield. Those are the MVPs today. Weston McKennie and Malik Tillman, the way they move and the way they work and the way they create space for others, that's the motor of this U.S. men's national team. That's the key for how they free up a Pulisic, how they free up a Serginho Dest, how Alex Freeman joins the attack, how Anthony Robinson can man that wing. That's the key to all these things. I've been involved many a time when you're on the other end of a team that gets thrown a red and you have to defend for an extended period of time. Jermaine's been there, so has Jurgen, I'd imagine. It is a lot of work. And the mental and physical exhaustion you go through trying to be always tuned in, to shift, to make sure there are no pockets behind you, to make sure you can come out of there with the result. It really is something to stress so people know what we're talking about, how difficult it is. It's not you should win because you have the advantage. You're at a disadvantage, and most likely than not, you're going to get scored on. You're going to buckle. You're going to lose. This team didn't buckle. They didn't lose. They scored a goal. They took it to a team like Bosnia, who was playing for the World Cup dreams. This is a big boy performance by Mauricio Pochettino's men.
Big boy performance. And one of the big boys for the U.S. men's national team, of course, Jurgen, is Christian Pulisic. We talk about how important he is to this team, how important it is for him to be on his game today. As you mentioned, he probably wasn't in the game as much as we would have liked to see. What do you put that down to?
Well, I put it down to the fact that the opponents, double him all the time. They are very, very focused on Christian Pulisic, and that leaves space open then for Tyler Adams, for Weston McKennie, for Malik Tillman to go in their spaces and make something happen. So Christian gets all the focus. As soon as he gets the ball, you can clearly see that they double him right away, no matter if he's in the middle or he comes from the left side. But for him, it was extremely important to get into the game. Nonetheless, I mean, getting a rhythm, having fights, having the one-against-one battles, because we don't know yet at what physical condition he really is in. And it was good to see him going almost all the way through. And that looks good now. Now comes the next big hurdle with Belgium. But what I saw today gives me confidence for the next game.
Yeah, well, something that gives us confidence right now is that we have the other member of our team joining us, Kasey Keller, who's all the way on the West Coast taking in this game. Kasey, Jurgen said this was a big boy performance from the U.S. How did you see it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think we knew that Bosnia and Herzegovina were going to be gritty. They were going to be hard to break down. They're big, they're strong. But we also felt that the U.S. outmatched them with pace. And they showed that. They created a lot of chances. They finally, got their reward with the goal, a little beneficial with the deflection falling to Balogun. And then, obviously, the unfortunate red card then led to kind of the game changing a little bit, which then meant that the U.S. then had to get that little bit of grit and get tested that little bit that we haven't seen in this tournament. And I think they came out of it very, very well. They obviously got the goal off the set piece and then hung on. Bosnia had some shots late to try to make it interesting and just weren't able to get them on target. But I really like what I saw again from this U.S. team. We expected the U.S. to beat Bosnia. They did exactly what we expected them to do. We didn't think it was going to be comfortable. It wasn't, but they got through the test very well.
Got through the test very well. Herc, just the question that I gave Jurgen as well, Christian Pulisic, as he pointed out, of course, they had two men on him, as you would do. They know he is the danger man for the U.S., but what did you think of him? Any cause for concern there, considering he is coming off of an injury that maybe suggests he's not quite 100%?
No cause for concern. I saw him dynamic. I saw him trying to get into pockets. Bosnia did a good job of making the field very narrow. They weren't allowing Christian Pulisic to get out wide, to find space. They were denying the spaces that the U.S. men's national team provoked against Paraguay, which were between the outside back and the center backs. They were closing those spaces down. It really was, as Jurgen stated, when he got the ball, he tried to go against one, and there was a second one right behind him. So you had to play the ball back. You had to circulate the ball. But I thought, like Case, that the U.S. did very well in the ball circulation, did very well trying to find the open man. They did very well controlling this game. I remember a minute right before the red card, I'm thinking to myself, they're completely dominating this team in possession. They're controlling this game. You need to reward yourself with a second goal, or it could get nervy. Then comes a red card, and all the notes are out the window. You're just thinking to yourself, oh, here we go again. I saw this at Copa America. Here we go again. This could be it for the U.S. men's national team. And it wasn't. And part of that was Christian Pulisic being on the field, and he was the man up top. He was the guy providing the ability to stretch the field. He was the first line of defense, if you will, and chasing players down. Whatever assignment you think we should have had for Christian Pulisic, it's about survival. So I thought everybody on this team today passed with flying colors, because in most cases, this team has showed us in the past that they would have buckled.
Kasey, the boys have pointed out a number of individuals that stood out to them, but as Jurgen said, from back to front, we did see some really solid performances. But who stood out to you?
I think, again, I like what I see, defensively from Richards. I like what I see with that triangle in midfield as well. I mean, I don't think there was a lot of situations where, Bosnia were really able to control the game. And I think because of how well the team played in midfield, particularly centrally, and then how well the defense kind of covered for one another. And they've done a great job of just not allowing teams easy opportunities to get shots on target. I mean, even some of the shots that were created from Bosnia were from distance. And so I give a lot of credit to that midfield triangle for continually just making sure the opponent is under pressure. They're not giving them, easy chances. They're winning a lot of second balls, and then how quick they go into the transition. And Balogun again was a threat in behind. I agree with Jurgen as well that Christian they kind of double and triple teamed him, and that quick circulation, as Herc mentioned, was going to be the key. But I think you also have to give Bosnia and Herzegovina, they understood what they were up against. They knew they couldn't get stretched. They knew they had to be compact and be difficult to break down. They did their job. The U.S. got their goal. They hung on, and then obviously were mature enough that when they did go the man down, that they were able to not only just consolidate, but then get a second goal and give themselves a little cushion. So, again, I like the spine. I think the spine played extremely well once again.
Well, as you can tell from our analysts, game recognized game, and another big name recognized some game. That's right, LeBron James had this to say: let's go. The silencer has landed at the World Cup. Hell of a goal there, young king, go USA. That, of course, is in reference to Flo Balogun's silencer celebration.